What is going on, everybody? Welcome in to another episode of Caught Stealing, the Fantasy Alarms Fantasy Baseball Podcast. I'm Howard Bender, and I'm joined again here by Joe Galina, Colby Conway, out on assignment right now. And by that, we mean that it's some sort of a work function for his wife, and he's not allowed to have done anything else. He couldn't stay home from it, so there you go. Joe, what's going on, man? How are you tonight?
Doing well. We were just talking about Chase Burns' debut against our Yankees, right? And how we have to get our take our emotions outside of fantasy baseball, because I'm a Yankee fan. I've made no bones about that, but I have Chase Burns going against them, and I was kind of excited when I saw he struck out 7 in the first 3 innings, and then second time around in the lineup, Yankees got to him. So, but I do have Ben Rice, and Ben Rice hit a home run against them, so it kind of balances out, I guess, a little.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm all for it. I love the rookies and bring them up, and if it's if we're genuinely talking about a guy who is going to be in the conversation with guys like Scooble and Skeens, and then you have to be excited about it. But yeah, not against my Yankees. I don't want to hear that. Dude, I was just on, and we're recording this on Tuesday night, everybody, June the 24th, and I just got off of the Fantasy Alarm Show. And I've never wanted to choke the life out of my co-host Jim Bowden as much as, because it's not only the fact that it's against the Yankees that he's cheering. Like, Jim is like, he's Mr. Cincinnati, right? He was the GM there for years. He brought him a World Series title and whatever. But so he was so pumped up and he was so animated about just interrupting, he's like, "Oh, Howard, we've got breaking news. Chase Burns just struck out 3 batters in the first hit." I'm like, that is not breaking news, my friend. That is. And then he did it a second time, and I was just like, and he knew. I mean, I guess I had my my mean voice on, my my disapproval voice, where I was like, "Oh, really? Is this what we're doing right now?" So now to see Chase Burns give up 3 runs, now to see him give up the 3 runs, yeah, you're damn right. Yeah. Screw you, Chase Burns, and not against my Yankees.
Did you text him? But if anybody has the MLB package and can watch these games, Paul O'Neill's doing the games with Michael Kay, and I love when Paul O'Neill does games, but especially when he's doing them at Cincinnati, because he gives you little insights as to what was going on when he was there. And last night they actually showed a clip of when Lou Piniella, who was managing them back in the early 90s, he had this fight with Norm Charlton in the clubhouse. They actually had footage of it. And, Kay said, "Well, where were you?" He goes, "I was in the shower." So I get out of the shower and I see them down on the floor. So just to get an insight, Paul O'Neill is a really good analyst, and I like listening to him.
Jim Bowden was the man who traded Paul O'Neill to the Yankees.
Oh, man, I have to send them a gift basket.
The Roberto Kelly trade. You remember that one?
Yes, I remember that. Yeah. A lot of us Yankee fans were upset about that, but love O'Neill.
Love O'Neill. Absolutely. I do believe the first time I met the GM, I thanked him personally for that deal. I was like, I appreciate that very, very much. Paul O'Neill, one of my wife's favorite Yankee fans. But I mean, listen, let's talk a little Chase Burns here, because you obviously you believe in him. You started him here going up against the Yankees in Great American Small Park, no less. So give me your thoughts here on Chase Burns.
I know.
How all in are you?
I needed pitching this weekend, and I was into Burns because obviously we all saw what he's done in the minor leagues, 89 strikeouts to 13 Ks, over 66 innings and 13 starts. Excited to see him pitch. But yeah, the thought did cross my mind that he was pitching at Great American Ballpark for the past 3 seasons, 3rd most hitter-friendly park. And you know what? His next start's going to be at Fenway, so that's not going to be that great either for him. But I looked at his splits, his minor league splits for the 2025 season. Saw no apparent weaknesses. But our friend Lenny Melnick says a rookie is a rookie is a rookie, and he's right, because the one thing I noticed about his scouting report is the guy throws a 101-mile-per-hour fastball, but surprisingly pretty hittable. They say that it's straight over the top delivery, so hitters could pick it up pretty easily. And last season, college hitters batted 286 against it. Another thing to consider, in my opinion, is his max inning pitched is 100 in college last season. So you're wondering, how many innings he's going to pitch for the Reds this year. And my guess is he's already thrown 66. So what do you think they give him? Maybe 120, 140 max. So that's something to be taken into consideration as well. But I do like the rookie pitchers, but you have to temper your expectations. And again, you got to put your emotions to the side, especially when they're pitching against your team, my team.
You know what? I've been doing this fantasy thing for so long, Joe. I don't know if I can leave emotion out anymore. I've spent so many years suppressing, right, the emotions, just swallowing it, and kind of trying to remain unbiased. Screw that, man. Screw that. I am.
Let it all hang out, Howard.
Now, what do you think? I mean, it's kind of funny when you're talking about the Reds and the situation that they're in. I mean, I don't necessarily know. I don't even know if they're even remotely in like any kind of wild card picture here. But when you got a kid like him, I almost wonder, do we look at it? Where are the Reds? Oh, they're 41-38, 5.5 games out of first. It's not a crazy strong division, right? In the wild card, where are they? They're 2 games out of the wild card spot there behind the Giants. So definitely doable if you're going to limit this guy. Do you remember when the White Sox threw Chris Sale, turned him into their closer for his rookie year? They drafted him and then put him into the majors that same season, which was unheard of at that point. Does that happen with Chase Burns? Maybe if the Reds do kind of creep down there, or do you think you have to, just because of the talent level, you have to keep him stretched out as a starter and not risk any kind of like injury?
If I'm the Reds, I'm worried more about the next several years, and with so many injuries to guys who throw over 100, I would be careful. And it's only one game, but the second time through the Yankee order, they got around on him. So maybe it wouldn't be bad down the road if they do use him as, maybe not necessarily a closer, but, someone in high leverage situations, but like I said, I mean, if I'm the Reds, I'm looking at him as a potential ace for, years to come.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the big leagues, Chase Burns. We'll obviously continue to track your progress. Other MLB news that's definitely worth talking about here. The Diamondbacks. How many shares of Corbin Carroll do you have, Joe? I would say I used to say I never have enough shares of Corbin Carroll. What kind of buffoonery do we have in Arizona where it takes you 5 days to send your guy out, your star player, out for another test to make sure there's nothing wrong? Oh, oops, what? It's a bone chip. Oh, it's a fractured wrist.
Yeah, I mean, with all the injuries that they've had, you almost think that maybe manager Torey Lovullo said, look, I don't want to know, let's just rest him and see how he feels. But yeah, he's the heart and soul of that offense, right? So the fact that they did wait the 5 days to get the results, and this is pretty serious injury, fracturing a bone chip in his wrist. This could take several weeks, maybe longer, for him to come back from it. And you never like to see a power hitter suffer a wrist injury. And it was so good to have him back in baseball, at peak performance, especially after the way he started off his season last year with what ended up being, I believe, a phantom shoulder injury that no one admitted that he had, right? And then, and then finally by the end of the season, he was his old self. But this is a tough one. And the Diamondbacks, man, I don't know what's in the water over there, but how many guys are on the IL? I mean, they just lost their two co-closers that they thought were going to be co-closers for the year to Tommy John surgery, AJ Puck, Justin Martinez. But they already had lost Corbin Burns and Jordan Montgomery to TJ surgery. Eugenio Suarez, hand contusion. His hand is too swollen for him to have an MRI. They're going to have to wait a week. Josh Naylor now has we don't love Josh Naylor because we're Yankee fans, right? But dealing with a shoulder issue. Rock the baby, right? And Gabriel Marino suffering from a fracture. Man, the whole team is like on the IL.
They're made out of like they all have hollow bird bones or something like that. The injuries happen. It's the course of action that you take around the injuries, though. That's the problem. I mean, I didn't think much of their closing situation with AJ. I'm not an AJ Puck fan. Everybody else was all in on AJ Puck. I don't know if that was the Jason Collette factor that, AJ Puck, when he was first coming up, was like getting all that hype, but I was just never into him at all. But, you look at the rest of it, the Suarez thing is going to be interesting because they got to be dealing Suarez. They're looking to deal Suarez, right? And open up some space for Jordan Lawler and see what happens. You do not want, you should be X-raying it and giving him a CT scan twice a day, every day until you can establish that he's going to be okay, because otherwise you're going to lose so much trade value from him at the absolute worst time.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. And he was coming on too. I mean, earlier in the season, I think his batting average was in the low 200s. Last I looked, it was respectable. And the guy just hits a ton of home runs. So he's definitely someone that would garner a lot of trade interest.
He definitely will. I just want him out of there just so that Jordan Lawler can come up and just play, for crying out loud.
Yeah.
How many,
Yeah, he's batting 251, 25 home runs, 67 ribbies. I mean, who can't use that?
25 home runs.
At third.
That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, just for Eugenio Suarez. I mean, we'll talk more home runs a little later on here in the podcast, but we'll just kind of cruise through some more of this injury news here. Chris Sale, the rib fracture. That's another an unfortunate one, right? Was he diving to make a play and he landed on himself wrong? I mean, this guy was on pace for a second straight Cy Young award.
Yep. And obviously very tough one. You could say at least it's not his shoulder or his elbow, but he's still going to be out for a while, and he's still going to need to get stretched out once he is, healthy. And that the Braves are another team that, this is the worst thing that could happen to them. I mean, their offense has been pretty horrible.
As we sit here tonight watching Frankie Montas shutting him down through 4 innings right now. I want to kill myself. Yeah. I want to kill myself right now. I'm watching freaking Ronald Acuna. I got Acuna and I got Olsen in the lineup here. And these idiots are making Frankie Montas look like he's freaking Cy Young.
We know what he's like because we saw him pitch.
He sucks
for the Yanks. But he was I mean, he was better with the A's, but he couldn't handle. But so I mean, I saw an article. They said the Cleveland Clinic says that Sale's injury could take a few weeks to heal. So I'm thinking he could be out for a month, right? I mean, by the time he gets stretched out again.
Definitely 4 to 6 weeks. I mean, just because of the nature of the injury. I mean, have you broken ribs or fractured ribs in your day?
Thankfully,
it is the worst ever. And I'll tell you what's even more nightmarish is sneezing when you have either a fractured rib or a broken rib. It is tears in my eyes. It was so painful. And then if you cough, my Lord.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Supposedly
they're small rib fractures, if that makes a difference. According to AJ Brzezinski on his, he does a.
He said it was okay. He's like, he'll be all right. It's a small fracture.
Yeah, basically, yeah. There's little tiny small
just
rib
a
fractures.
little baby kind of. I mean, you wouldn't even. Yeah, trust me, nightmare. Speaking of nightmares, all right. So here's the thing, Joe, because actually you were just talking about, right? like taking emotion out of what's going, out of, fantasy baseball and loyalty and stuff like that. We are going to hear on Thursday. So you guys, by the time you're listening to this, it'll be Wednesday. So tomorrow we're going to probably get a ruling. Wander Franco is either going to go to jail for 5 years or he's going to be reinstated by the Rays. Now, I don't look to Wander Franco as somebody who's going to be, something to use this season, right? Because I don't know what kind of shape he's been. He's been out of baseball for 2 years. But given the nature of everything that's gone down here, like Joe, I mean, take a stand here, man. What would you, let's say it's next year, or let's say you're in a dynasty league, right? You still have him, or he's like available on waivers or something like that. Would you use Wander Franco?
You're innocent until you're proven guilty, but the charges against them are pretty, disgusting. So my taking a stand, he won't be on any. I hate to say this because, like I said, innocent until proven guilty, but I probably won't have him on any of my fantasy teams, probably ever.
I mean, if you believe that he didn't, that somebody didn't get paid off somewhere, I mean, it's gross. It's totally gross, isn't it?
Just in case it is. It's a gross thing, and just let's say he gets off of these charges, but just in case they're real, I mean, I can't, and maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I could have him on any of my teams. I don't know. How do you feel about it?
I mean, listen, if he blossoms, if he's not guilty and he blossoms into this elite hitting superstar that he was supposed to be, well, then maybe I trade for him if it meant winning a championship. Maybe I do that. But overall here, I'll never draft the guy. I mean, listen, you can't tell me that you're out of baseball for 2 years and just because you're 24 years old right now means that you're going to get it right back. Right? Like I feel like and what is it? I guess it's this all reminds me of like more crap from like Delman Young, Elijah Dukes, like all of these like old Rays who just, all sorts of issues and problems and stuff like that. And when this kind of trouble follows you, I mean, listen, because even if he's found not guilty and he comes back and he plays, you telling me that on the road, the fan heckling isn't going to be insane to the point where you're not going to even want to step out onto the field?
My God, I tell you, just to give you an example, I hate to bring up the Yankees again, but I was at the White Sox game in Chicago the day that Alex Rodriguez got reinstated after, he was suspended for the PED use. And the abuse that this guy got every time he, came to the plate or, made a play as a fielder. I'm not a big A-Rod fan, but I really felt bad for him that night. I've never heard boos that loud in my life. So I can only imagine what a guy like Wander Franco and what he's been accused of would be going through for the rest of his career. Could you imagine the stuff that the fans are going to be screaming at him from their seats after a couple of beers?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I think it's going to be, it's going to be horrendous. I mean, listen, we've seen it. I don't know where you stand on heckling. I don't know. Did you ever see Ted Lasso? Okay. So that part where the guy in the stands calls Isaac the F word. And or Isaac's friend, he calls him that, and Isaac like freaks out about it and screams and goes into the stands, everything like that. And then Roy Kent does this, the press conference afterwards, and he's just like, you never know what somebody's going through or whatever like that. Some people buy a ticket and they think that they could just shout whatever they want. Like, I'm not a part of that. Like, I don't like that. Heckling is one thing. Like I used to hang out with a dude and I used to go to games with him. And I remember he was so abusive on Raul Mondesi when Mondesi was playing for the Royals. It was a game at Yankee Stadium. And he was just so abusive and relentless with it to the point where Mondesi didn't even want to come back into the outfield, until the game was actually starting. And he hung out on the infield dirt with like Carlos Febles or whoever the second baseman was at the point on his way to going out there. I personally, I don't think that I think there comes to a point where you're just like, shut the hell up. You're annoying everybody around you as well. It's not the funniest thing.
1,000% agreed.
So, I mean, imagine that asshole sitting there screaming certain obscenities Wander Franco's way.
Yeah. Well, look what happened with, was it Yaron Duran from the Red Sox?
Hot Mike.
The suicide. What didn't like a fan, didn't he talk in the past about having suicidal tendencies? Do I have the right player?
Yeah,
and the fans.
About it.
Yeah. It was fairly recent. It was this season, and some fans could really, I feel you're allowed to boo. You're allowed to boo, but when it gets personal, and there is a line that fans do cross, and they shouldn't cross it. And when you talk also about fantasy baseball managers, fantasy football managers too, when they go across the line, if a player has a bad game and it costs them, a fantasy manager a game, right? And they could, go over the top in social media. There is a line that gets crossed, and we have to just be human to each other.
It's insane. It really is. Like, people, if they lose in fantasy or they lose a bet or something like that, what they do and they turn around. Yeah, I'm totally. I'm just against it. I think that whatever. Yeah. Especially if you're dealing with baseball, right? Like when people start screaming at players about fantasy or betting in baseball, you're betting on a game where a 30% success rate is considered Hall of Fame.
Yes. Right.
Like I was in awe of Shohei Ohtani this past weekend. In awe of Shohei Ohtani, because not only did this dude go out on a rehab start and strike out 2 and pitch the perfect inning. Then he went back and he went 2 for 4 with a home run, right? Looked fantastic. But what really got me with Ohtani was when he got hit. Did you see all the footage there when he got hit on Friday night? They hit Fernando Tatis, and the Padres turned around, they hit Ohtani. And Ohtani waved off the dugout. Was like, no, we're fine. We're good. And then he even walked over towards the Padres dugout and was like, okay, are we good? Are we even? Is this over? Right?
I didn't see it.
Kind of that, to me, that is absolutely amazing. As opposed to some heckler who's going to be sitting there talking about, sexually abusing small children in front of families and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
I don't remember why I got sidetracked onto the whole Ohtani thing there, but
that's cool. That's cool.
He's really, dude, he's ridiculous. He really is.
It's almost like, I hate to say that because we have a great guy that we're a fan of in the Bronx, but it's like you start the season with him as the MVP, and then, he has to lose it. You know what I mean? He's so good he's just the guy, especially now if he's going to be pitching again. There's just a phenom. I mean, you can't really say enough good things about the guy.
I mean, listen, I love Aaron Judge, and his power is amazing, and his plate discipline and everything about him, his level of humility, everything like that. I watch Ohtani, and it's like he vibrates on a different level than any other player out there. I mean, it's like when they used to say that Gretzky would see the ice this is an old person reference, right? He'd see the ice moving at 78 speed, but Gretzky was traveling at 45 speed for all you record people out there. I mean, it's just the way he sees it, the way he approaches the game. I mean, it is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love Aaron Judge too, but
Mhm.
Ohtani is just holy cow. Holy cow.
Let me ask you about it since we're talking Ohtani. We just really quick. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it. Did it cross your mind? Some people believe that baseball saved him. That that really he was the guy gambling. Do you think there's any chance that happened? That his interpreter took the fall, which would be a pretty big fall to actually go
I
to
mean,
jail.
I think there's a chance. Yes, I do. Because and because I mean Ray Lewis committed a double homicide at the Super Bowl one year, and his buddy took the rap,
Mm-hmm.
right? Went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
You know that Ray took care of him. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, I think that there is definitely a chance. There really
Okay.
is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to sit there and like dissect it to the point where I'm going to be like anti Ohtani because
Right.
at this point in time right now, I mean, nothing was ever proven that it was him, and this guy is taking the fall. I won't let the rumor mill kind of squelch my opinion of Ohtani, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is there a shot? Of course, there's a shot, man. Come on, let's face
Mm-hmm.
facts, Joe. People are all scumbags anyway, right? Everybody has a little scumbag in them, right? I do, you
Scumbag, and
do,
they have skeletons in their closet, right? Come on.
right? Come on, absolutely, absolutely.
Except me and you. But anyway.
Oh no, dude. Listen, I got over there in the closet. You don't even want to know. You don't even want to know. So many skeletons, Joe. So many skeletons. All right, so there you go. A couple of news items that are hot around fantasy baseball in general here. What I started doing with Colby on last week's episode, because the fantasy baseball, it's always about the ebb and flow, and it's always about who's hot and who's not, and where we're at. So, a little segment here called "What Are We to Believe?" Right,
Mm.
and last week I gave Colby like a bunch of guys and their stats over the last couple of weeks and whatever, and kind of going through it. And so I'm going to do this with you here, Joe. We're going to start off with. And don't be upset because I know you're as big an Aaron Judge fan as I am. I know. Cal Raleigh, his
I'll leave
AL.
him. No, yeah, we're not talking about Raleigh.
You have to. You
All right, all right,
have to.
all
Just a
right.
little bit.
Okay.
Do you not believe?
I kind of do believe. I mean, classic tale of a guy who pulls the ball, hits the ball hard, and hits a ton of fly balls. Right. I mean, I looked at his fly ball rate; it's almost 55%. His pull rate is just over 55%. Hard hit rate, just over almost 42%. So, the guy's got power. He always has had power. And then this season, I'm looking that he's hitting 303 against off-speed pitches. Last season, batted 210 against them. Hitting 289 against fastballs. Last season, 224. So the guy has progressed. People do get better, and the guy has he's got power, and like I said, I mean, the has all the classic batting. He, like I said, he pulls the ball, hits the ball in the air, hits it hard. I believe that. I believe the power. I believe that it's not shocking that he has 32 home runs.
It's crazy. I mean, it's but like that's the question. I mean, is how much regression are we going to see, or are like are you looking at this guy thinking 50 to 55 home runs is a distinct possibility for him?
I think 50 could be a distinct possibility. He's got 32 already, and we're still just under the halfway mark in the season. So, is there going to be some regression? Sure, the guy's a catcher, right? I mean, he's going to be catching games in the dog days of July and August. So, I'm thinking, yeah, he's going to regress a little bit. Another thing that he's doing this year, he's got 9 stolen bases.
Yeah.
Remember when JT Realmuto, used to steal bases? He was one of the catchers that you always try to get because he stole like 15, 20 bases a season. The guy's stealing 9 bases. So, yeah, I think he's going to regress a little bit, but I think he hits 50.
I think he gets there too. I really do. I mean, like the funny thing, I mean, because you're also, if you're talking about the MVP race, because the odds went from 25, it was like plus 2,500 to plus 500. He's now the favorite to win the MVP in the American League. Now, I think Judge hits for more power than he does, or, hopefully. I think it'll hit for a better batting average. Cal Raleigh defensively, though, like it's tough to argue about it. He's actually listed as one of the top pitch framers, in the American League right now. So in baseball in general. So, I mean, I think that's, it's just kind of, it's very interesting to see when a guy does this, there's a little piece of me that it almost reminds me of like when Yandy Diaz last year kind of came from out of nowhere, right? Age 31 season. Oh, he just increased his launch angle. Right. Like, I mean, is that what we're getting here with Cal Raleigh? And if that's the case, I mean, I'll take the raw power, but yeah, I agree. I think the dude could hit 210 the rest of the way. He could.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, in the past, was he batting like around 275 now? Yeah. I mean, there's been seasons where he has hit, 226. So it's possible. But, for now, and when it comes to MVP, in your opinion, we look at stats, but when you're a most valuable player, how much does your team's record go into that? You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because let's say if the Mariners don't make the playoffs, but the Yankees, make the playoffs, does that give the tipping point to Judge?
I always kind of view it as like, obviously it's most valuable player. If you take that player off of that team, what is that team doing? If you take Cal Raleigh off of the Mariners, are they a last place team? Right? Like, I mean, are they going to struggle? What are their strengths? If you take Aaron Judge off of the team, what happens to the Yankees? Right? I mean,
I'd say that Judge is a little bit more valuable in that respect. He's got 6.1 WAR, Judge does, and Raleigh has a 5.1. So they're both very valuable. No doubt.
Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, listen, we're wishing you nothing but the best there, Cal Raleigh. It's just it's definitely tough to buy into, right? Like I was like, this dude just hit his 32nd home run. He had 34 all of last year. Like somebody get that dude a cup to piss in,
right? Yeah.
How are we not testing him? Where's his piss test?
Right.
I'm not even kidding around.
Yeah. Who was the guy from I see his face, the guy from the Orioles that one year who hit 50 home runs?
Brady Anderson.
There you go.
Piss test. All right. Byron Buxton. Here we go. He's played 18 games here in the month of June. He's slashing 317, 429, 714 here in this month. He is healthy and he is on pace for a 30-30 career year. What are we to believe? Is he just going to get hurt tomorrow and then we don't have to care about it anymore? Or can Byron Buxton deliver that 30-30 year here in his, I think it's his age 31 season?
Yeah. And, when I looked at his age, I was a little surprised because it seems like he's been playing forever. But yeah, I believe that, and I hope it doesn't happen because I never wish anything bad on anyone, but I believe he's going to be on the IL again before the season's over. He's already been on twice, right? Once for a concussion, once for a left elbow contusion. So this guy is just, there's no two ways about it. He's just injury prone, has always had immense talent. Such a shame that his career has been marred because of this injury, his injury proneness. So, if you're a fantasy baseball manager who is trying to, trade for him, buyer beware, because in my opinion, he's an injury waiting to happen.
Yeah, I'm with you. Speaking of injuries on the way to speaking of injuries ready to happen or waiting to happen, Jacob deGrom. Here we go. He's 3-0 with a 1.80 ERA and a 9 K per 9 here in the month of June. He's 3.2 innings away from throwing the most innings he's thrown since 2021. And that's not a lot of innings.
Right.
Joe, what are we to believe here with Jacob deGrom?
I hate to kind of like repeat what I said with Buxton, but look, yeah, no, I'm impressed that deGrom came back and is as he really hasn't lost a step when you look at his his stats, like you said, 3-0, 1.8 ERA. But we also have to look at the fact that, like you said, I think that the most important thing is what you said, that he hasn't thrown this many innings in a long time. And just again, based on his past track record, if I'm the Mets, I'm like, thank God we didn't pay this guy the money he was asking for. I would not trade for him in fantasy. And yeah, I'm sorry, I can't believe, I don't know. You?
I'm in that same boat as you. I'm sitting here. If I'm like, if I have Byron Buxton or Jacob deGrom on my roster, I'm definitely looking to trade them. I'm definitely, if I have them both, imagine the package you could get for the two of them right there, right? From somebody who just doesn't know anything about injuries.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, you're not telling me that as you're getting older, you're getting healthier. It's just not the way it works. Speaking of two guys here, all in the gray right now, right?
Yes.
All right, next guy here, Jason Mizarowski. Now, this was a player who I guess last week Colby was, definitely hyping up. I can't remember if you and I talked about, like, if we were talking about his possible call up and had him on our waiver list, but he's 2 starts into his big league career right now, 1.64 ERA. Strikeout per inning. Are we believing in Mizarowski? Is he the next? You got Chase Burns, now you got Mizarowski. I know a rookie's a rookie, Lenny, but
etch it in your table. Yeah. So you look at his 2 starts so far, and the first one he walked 4 in 5 innings and also struck out 5. And next start was a lot better. He only walked 1, but walks have been an issue in his career, minor league career. I think it was either like in somewhere in the 4s per inning, walks per inning. So I believe, but I temper my expectations, because if you're giving up, let's say 4.1 walks per inning to minor leaguers, major leaguers are going to, be more patient, and they're going to make you throw strikes. So I would roster him this season, but I don't think it's going to be a meteoric rise. I think it's going to be a little up and down. And like I said, he's only had 2 starts, and the first one, he didn't give up any earned runs, but he gave up those 4 walks in 5 innings pitched, which is more akin to what he's been like throughout his minor league career. So, yeah, I like him. I believe, but I temper my expectations a little bit.
I feel like you have to temper your expectations. I do like the fact that he pitches in a garbage division, right? Like, I don't see him having, many issues with the other teams that are in the in that NL Central as well. So I think he's in a good spot. I'm with you. I mean, I'll definitely, I'll hold him in the leagues that I do have him. I'll start him, and I'll just kind of monitor what they do with as far as innings go, pitch count goes. But yeah, I'm never going to be totally depressed on a guy or throw him out, throw the, baby out with the bathwater if he does start to get, hit around a little bit. Right? You have to expect that hitters are going to make the adjustments. It's really what it comes down to for the long term of a player is whether or not he can make the necessary adjustments to counter the adjustments that the hitters are making. So that's good. Absolutely. That's going to be something to watch for him. All right. One player here. I'm a huge fan of this guy. I really am. You can laugh all you want, but I do love Jose Soriano. I love a guy who's got a kick-ass ground ball rate and a high strikeout rate. That's what I love. I think that if the idiot Rockies made me the director of scouting, I wouldn't look at a single pitcher out that doesn't have a higher ground ball rate than 50%, right? And doesn't miss a lot of bats. That's what I'm looking for.
Agreed.
Jose Soriano is that guy, Joe. Here in the in the last 3 starts, 20 and 2/3 innings, 1 win, a 12.19 K per 9, and a 0.87 ERA. It looks like he's in a groove. We watched him embarrass the Yankees a couple of starts ago.
Yep.
I believe in Jose Soriano. Do you, Joe, believe in Jose Soriano?
Excuse me. Excuse me
Oh,
again.
that doesn't bode well. Phlegm and
God.
upchucks does not.
Jose Soriano. I can't believe he. No, anyway. No, I like Soriano more as a streamer. He's always been a better pitcher on the road if you look at his career stats, and not so much for the season, but for his career, he's been a lot better against left-handed hitters. You look at his, home and away stats. Home 4.26 ERA. That ballpark that the Angels play in, pretty hitter friendly, and away 2.78 ERA. So I'm not as in love with him as you are. But like I said, I mean, he'd be somebody that I wouldn't mind rostering, as one of my, 8 pitchers, 6 starting pitchers, whatever, on my fantasy team. But again, I might, manage him a little bit more and maybe, watch who he's pitching against and definitely put him in when he's not pitching at home.
Okay. All right. You're right. I do love him more than you do. It's okay. That's okay. That's what makes the world go round, right? Like,
Absolutely.
we all have our different guys.
If we all love the same people, we'd be in trouble. Yes.
Always in on the same dudes over and over again. You know what? I'll tell you what's really funny is I actually like this, and I've been talking to Jim Bowden about it. Like when we differ on players, like it's obviously it creates more discourse and everything like that. But I also like keeping score for the end of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who was right, who was wrong, and we go from there. I have yet to be officially right
fantasy,
on what's it?
I was going to say, as fantasy managers, we like to be right. We like to win, right? So it makes sense that you would keep track of that kind of stuff, right?
I do it. It's also for a competitive, thing with me and Jim.
We're competitive as fantasy managers. We're competitive by nature, and you and Jim, you have that relationship where he's going to give you grief when Reds players are shutting down Yankee players, and you got to give it right back to him in another way, right?
Allow me to reiterate how badly I wanted to kill him today. I did. You guys can go listen to that on the SiriusXM app. You can actually hear the death rays coming out of my voice. You can actually hear it for sure. All right. Well, Joe, let's wrap things up here with some waiver wire suggestions for the people out there. Because again, you got to finish this first half strong, right? Because what's going to happen is if you're sitting there in the second half of the season, everybody who's in the bottom half of your standings, they're all going to start to crap out. They're all going to start paying more attention to fantasy football, and it's going to enable you to move forward more. So finishing out this first half nice and strong, I think, is imperative. And Joe's got some waiver wire plays for you here.
Yep. And also, I'll just say this, that, I kind of use the summer holidays as a way of just taking a real deep dive into my rosters and seeing what's going on. Like Memorial Day weekend, right? It's still fairly early in the season, so you might want to be a little bit more patient. But now we're getting to July 4th weekend, and that's a real key time, like you said, because so many fantasy baseball managers are going to be checking out. So you're going to be golden on the waiver wire for the next couple months, right as fantasy football season ramps up. But here's some hitters that and you tell me, it's kind of deep guys, Howard, but you tell me what you think. Like Ernie Clement, not much power, but doesn't strike out much. So if you play in a league where you penalize for strikeouts, he won't hurt you. And if you're dealing with injuries, this guy's eligible all over the place: first base, second base, third base, shortstop. Again, he's kind of a ride him while he's hot player, right? But I'm looking at his last 89 at bats, batting .416 with an OPS over 1,000. Not really a power hitter, only 3 home runs during that time. But like I said, just the position flexibility to me makes him valuable.
Yeah.
And Chandler, Simpson, outfielder for the Rays, just got called up again.
Get that speed going, right? Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. He's had his defensive struggles, but if you talk about defensive struggles, I don't want to veer off too much, but you talked about what you saw with Shohei. I saw a clip of O'Neal Cruz, and did you see that play in the outfield where he just gave up on it? And
Yep.
it just went through whatever. So Chandler Simpson does have defensive struggles. I think Cruz just gets O'Neal Cruz gets too much credit. I don't know. He hits the ball hard, but not on my fantasy teams. But anyway, Chandler Simpson going to bat for high average, batted 285, 19 stolen bases in 35 games. He's back in the majors. You need stolen bases. He's the guy. Cam Smith, remember, everyone was going crazy for him. Preseason drafts. Really good minor league pedigree, but got really shot up through the system. Maybe a little too soon, but been playing better in his last 24 games, batting 271 with a 750 OPS. So he's coming around. And a guy that nobody really talks about, Jake Myers, Astros outfielder, also a little more speed and batting average help, right? Batting 310 for the season, 13 stolen bases. Brooks Lee has been coming on, infielder for the Twins, shortstop, second base, third base eligible. Not much power, but if you look at over the past 24 games, batting 341 with an 830 OPS. And I don't know if you want me to go through the pitchers or you have any.
Let's say this: Royce Lewis on the IL is huge for Brooks Lee. That's going to keep his bat in the lineup for sure. I love the Jake Myers mention because I think that he is a highly underrated outfielder. He's not going to nobody on your waiver wire is going to be a world beater. You have to if you're going to talk about going after call-ups and rookies, that's where you're getting your ceiling. What you're looking for now on your waiver wire are guys who are going to be productive that you don't really you're never going to find somebody on your roster that you're like, damn, got to lock this guy in now as my starting third baseman over and over. No, if you're having a problem and you're picking up a guy off the waiver wire, you have to be able to be confident enough in your ability to just kind of play the hot hand that you're not afraid to drop them, right? And then all of a sudden, you're taking advantage of Cam Smith's 300 average in the month, right? Mm-hmm. Because you are not buying into you're not going to be afraid to take him out when he's batting 240 in the month of July, right? So I like all of these calls here for sure. I love Simpson for the speed, Smith and Myers for sure. And yes, again, Ernie Clement's like one of those guys like you get like a Tommy Edman type guy or a Javier Baez type guy, a guy who's going to play 4 different positions and throw them in the middle of the corner infield. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right.
And just to build on what you said real quick, I'll say that how we were talking about people checking out and us as fantasy baseball managers, being on top of things. And when a guy's batting 240, dropping them, the people that are paying attention to fantasy football are not going to be dropping these guys. So that's an advantage to you as well. You know what I'm saying? So I just thought I'd just say that. But you want me to talk a couple of pitchers, or do you have any pitchers you want to talk about?
I'd love for you to talk a couple of pitchers, Joe.
Okay. So Jacob Lopez, I saw a lot of people were picking him up this week. Not really crazy about him, but good numbers in his last 3 starts. And the fact that 2 of those 3 starts were at Sutter Health Park, which it's another very hitter-friendly place, right? Along with Coors Field and Cincinnati's great American Ballpark. So the fact that he pitched well there is kind of impressive. But so, take it with a grain of salt. But a lot of people were into him, and he's had 3 good starts. Dylan Lee, I wrote about him. I'm going to tap myself on the shoulder. I wrote about him on the June 11th bullpen report. And I said, seems like the logical choice to be the next man up because Raciel Iglesias has been having a rough year for the Braves as their closer. And he got the save the other night. And you look at his numbers for the season, 1.77 ERA, 0.813 whip, and hasn't given up a run in ages. I mean, like his last 12 games. So I think that he has a chance to be their closer if they really just walk away. And basically, a couple weeks ago, the Braves said that Iglesias is not their designated closer now. So it's kind of like, in flux. But Dylan Lee could be the guy. So I like him. Grant Holmes, tread carefully with this one, but the guy has 29 Ks in his last 17.1 innings.
Right.
He's also walked he's also walked too many people too, but overall 3.71 ERA on the season, 97 Ks and 85 innings. So, be careful with him. Maybe use him more as a streamer. And I got this as a real deep league potential future ad because I don't like his starts in the next week or so. But this guy, Brandon Walter for the Astros, if he sticks in the rotation, he got rocked at his last start, but otherwise has been really good. Next couple starts, he's got one against the Cubs and one at Colorado. But I like what he had done before he just got rocked. And he's got good minor league numbers, 3.38 minor league career ERA, even though he pitched some of it in the Pacific Coast League, which is a hitter-friendly league. And almost 11 Ks per 9 and 2.2 walks per 9. So I like that in his career stats in the minor league. So, just somebody keep him on your watch list.
I dig it. I definitely dig it. 100%. Well, there you have it, folks. A little waiver wire action for pitchers, for hitters. Who you're believing in, who you're not believing in. I tell you, now I get to go out and watch the rest of this Yankees game and hope that I never have to hear anything more about the Reds. Although the Reds do currently apparently have the bases loaded on the Yankees right now with only one out in the bottom of the 7th. So either way, we appreciate everybody for tuning in. As always, we thank you. If you've been watching on YouTube, by all means, click that like and subscribe button. It's always a nice way to show a free appreciation for the work that we all put in here over at Fantasy Alarm. Check out Joe's bullpen report over at fantasyalarm.com and the closer grid, always huge for that. Joe will be doing some fantasy football stuff as we move closer into the season as well. So stay tuned for all of that. And okay, if you are watching, by the way, the QR code up above Joe's shoulder over there, that side, you can zap that. That's your 7-day free trial over at fantasyalarm.com, which means that you get to take the draft guide for a spin. Check it out. See what we've got. Look at the rankings. Look at the cheat sheets, everything that we have for you over there. But also, obviously, we are going to finish this baseball season nice and strong. That's going to do it for us here on the show. As always, Joe, big thank you, man, for filling in for Colby Conway. I always love to get a chance to sit here and talk some Yankees baseball with you.
There you go. I appreciate the invite. With everything going on in the world, it's always fun to spend an hour talking fantasy baseball with you. So I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. Well, there you go, folks. Thanks so much for joining us here on Caught Stealing. For Joe Galina, I'm Howard Bender. We'll catch you next time.